actually break anything. Okay, so Formidable Speaker. There's some Griselbrands and Bobos off to the side. I'm gonna pull over real quick. Speaker does kind of everything in the stack. I think it's really cool. Untapping Cauldron is pretty relevant with the Borborygmos. Again, I can't quite touch anything yet. But we've played some of this deck in the past. You might remember the Mox Opal Goryo shell. The idea is that you're trying to Goryos or Cauldron Griselbrand, and then if you do, then you can kind of draw your deck and try to get a Sheoldred in play by casting it with Moxen. Or you can cast him off the Moxen, or you can discard a Sheoldred to a Cookbook or a Thoughtseize and then Goryos it. And then once you have Griselbrand Sheoldred assembled, you are able to find a Borborygmos Enraged, discard a bunch of lands, kill your opponent. Speaker is really, really cool in the shell, where you can grab Griselbrand, you can grab Value Sheoldred, you can grab Emperor of Bones as a reanimation spell, you can discard Griselbrand Borborygmos, you can grab Asmo for removal, or grab Asmo to kind of outgrind your opponents, especially if they're playing Graveyard Hate. Asmo is also a cheap 1-mana legend to enable Mox Amber, which is relevant a lot of the time. Might be good to play less Asmos than this, but I think I kind of want 4 in the 75, because sometimes you're going to bring in Monument to Endurance against like Blink, so you're not as weak to their Graveyard Hate, and you play a more like Cookbook Monument to Endurance plan in these like mid-rangey matchups. This deck can win on turn 2. If you go Cookbook into Goryo's Griselbrand, a lot of times you're going to win on turn 2, which is really fun to have access to that. 3 Shelly over 1, not tons of interaction. I guess I don't know how those two thoughts are connected. You need to play more than one Sheoldred. You need to draw it and cast it off your Griselbrand. How do you feel about Undying effects? If we're talking about for this deck, they wouldn't make any sense. Guess we're going to 5. Certainly a deck that can mulligan pretty well. Not the best mull to 5. I wish Speaker was a 4-2. Fanatic of Ronus fan. After my own heart. Well, we're insanely weak to the Thoughtseize. Is there deck a deck to beat currently, or is the format in a good state? Format's a good state. I don't know. I guess I don't know how those two things are connected exactly. It's kind of funny. They take the Cookbook, which is definitely the right call here. Roll to 5, get Thoughtseized. We are, gonna just surveil Griselbrand into the yard at any time here. Well, I guess they made Thoughtseize the, they played Moonshadow. Any chance I can bait you with 11 Shadow Parker Luck Belcher? There's almost no chance it's right to play Moonshadow and Belcher in the same deck. Yeah, you're not playing fetch lands in your, but there's no Moonshadow. Okay. 8, this is the other Shadow. I guess I don't get the Parker Luck. Oh, you Parker Luck with Recross the Paths? Okay, great deck. Pretty cool. I'll take another draw step. Cookbook is the only Asmo enabler. Yeah. You also have Urza Saga for Cookbook. You also Formidable Speaker. Formidable Speaker also for Asmo. I am thinking maybe we should play less Asmos. It's a little bit tough. You also kind of need the cheap legend. All right, tough mull to 5. That was very weak to the Thoughtseize. I think against Grixis Moonshadow, I'm also going to play the Monuments. They probably are playing Nethergoyf, so having a Nihil Spellbomb is probably fine. Let's cut the Thoughtseizes. They're going to bring in a lot of Graveyard Hate. I wonder if I want to... Can I cut Goryo's Vengeance? Cut a Griselbrand. I know this is a little bit weird. Cut a shit. Like, just kind of move away from the combo, but still have access to it with Cauldron, Emperor, and Speaker for Cauldron. Let's try this. Yeah, the Asmos are really important, so you can enable Mox Amber sometimes in your combo turns. Yeah, but this is a really cool deck, I think. I kind of just I'm almost never interested in playing Recross the Paths on Magic Online. It's just I can't bring myself to do it probably. I would probably only play one Parker Luck though. Like maybe just one Parker Luck, one Shadow of Mortality as a recross path pile thing. I don't know. You might need a summoners. You probably need a Pact of Negation somewhere in the 75 too. Oh, look, a keepable hand. Might be good to lead on Saga for Cookbook for a turn 3 monument. I think I'm gonna Surveil turn 1 instead. See if we regret this. Maybe there's something to Insatiable Avarice Parker Luck. I mean, there's something for sure. I think we keep a Cookbook. Maybe a bit awkward of double Saga, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, I can resolve it this turn off the spawn token. I guess we take the Opal and then cast the Cookbook, but probably wait on the casting the Opal. I really doubt my opponent's going to Thoughtseize it. I don't want to discard any card in my hand for it. We can also, I guess we're 1 mana short of going Formidable Speaker for Griselbrand, discard Griselbrand, Cauldron the Griselbrand. That may become our plan now that we've been Thoughtseized. Could draw another Mox Opal, although we only have 2 left in the deck. But if we did, we would be able to Cauldron Griselbrand this turn. Another thing about Speaker in this deck too is like you can Cauldron Griselbrand and then untap the Cauldron and then Cauldron the Bobo in the same turn cycle. So they go down to 13. Moonshadow's a 3/3. They have double Thoughtseize. And they take the Speaker. So I guess we are on plan C, which is make a construct or 2. Suppose I'm going to feel kind of bad if I draw Griselbrand, but this is pretty mana efficient this turn. Don't think I think I'd rather make a construct than discard my Mox Opal to kill the Moonshadow also. Thoughts on the NBA trade deadline? This is my first year being like a super fan, and it's been stressful. I hope AD's happy in Washington. Hope he has gets healthy and has a good career over there. I'll be devastated if Najee Marshall or Max Christie get traded today. If I was in the Moonshadow version, would I have taken the same cards? It depends on what's in the hand, but probably, yeah. Okay, so we did draw the Griselbrand. Oh, sorry. I totally did not mean to tap my black source because I wanted to get Nihil Spellbomb. Guess I also should have played the Cookbook pre-combat. I think you need at least 2 Shadow Mortality because if you draw your 1 copy, you can't do the thing. Okay, good point. Yeah. All right, you've thought all the angles. Looks fun. I would love to play it on Magic Online if it was reasonable to do so. It's not really reasonable. I don't really know why they bother blocking. What percent of decks run Cookbook? I think it's your secret pack card. You can go to moxfield.com/user/aspiring spike, find out, but I don't know. There's just a lot of ways you can build Asmo, and I'm thirsty for versatile cards to brew around. Is Speaker playable in Temur Battlecryer even though it isn't a 4-power creature? Oh no. A simple, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and block and crack the Spellbomb, I think. Nice to have Griselbrand in the yard, although we did cut our Goryos. Alright, so yeah, they just, like, if they had the Fatal Push, like this, like, they should have just pushed and then attacked, right? Although, I guess they wanted to grow the Goyf. Is that maybe the idea? In a Golgari Moonshadow deck without Saga, 6 Nissa, or 3 Overlord? Nissa, I wasn't loving with Moonshadow. I think in theory the first copy's good. I don't love the Witherbloom commands. They might secretly be great. I feel like I would be pretty in on Overlord though. It's like it's almost definitely the best card draw spell. These Assassin's Trophies are kind of funny. So they're pausing in response to this bauble. I don't know what that means. Draw a Rumble. I think we got to make a construct this turn though. So you got a 4/4 construct, about to be a 5/5. Just don't really foresee another cookbook being very relevant. I guess it is if I draw exactly my one Ovalchase Daredevil, but even then it's not that relevant. So 2 cards in our opponent's hand. Don't need to be worried about an attack, probably. They kind of have to chump block if I attack before rumbling. I guess also after rumbling they would need to. So I guess we rumble first to see if we find a Cauldron. Then we could Cauldron the Griselbrand. Didn't play around Stub very well, but they have Spell Snare. So yeah, didn't play well around this because now I can't force the chump block. But I just can't force it. I guess I hold the forest in hand to either discard the cookbook for Asmo or to bait I guess it wouldn't be Thoughtseize because they're at 2 life. Yeah, I could also mill Ovalchase. All that good reasons to cast Rumble, Spell Snare, / Stubborn Denial, good reason not to cast the Rumble there. Could also have discarded the forest to stop them from like surveilling this turn. That might have been worth it. A lot of little small decision points. Hard to tell which one's going to be the biggest deal. They decide not to crack the fetch. So play Moonshadow, 1 card in their hand. Moonshadow was almost definitely the draw for turn, so last card's probably Thoughtseize. No attacks is interesting. You wouldn't get punished by Stub. You would have put them 1 from the fetch. Only snares. You wouldn't get punished by Stub. Would have put them to 1 from the fetch, and then I couldn't pay for Stub, so it would have countered the Rumble. The Amber doesn't tap for mana. It's like there's the same as Snare, right? Okay, we didn't see any graveyard hate that game. It's possible that they're light on it. They might have like 2 clings and it's like something else. I don't really like having these Thoughtseizes. Let's bring a couple Goryos back in. See if we live to regret it. They're likely on Spellbomb. I agree it's likely, but it could also be like 2 clean Graveyard Trespassers. It's how many Spellbombs is it? 1, 2, maybe. Cyborgs are so taxed right now. This Cyborg plan's okay. Opponent is deep in the tank for game 3. We're on the draw. We have actually a very good hand that's weak to Thoughtseize. This is turn 2, make a Saga token. Turn 1, play 2 cookbooks, 2 Mox and an Asmo. I'm gonna keep. Interesting. It's better to play the Saga second if they have like a consign or something like that. And I think playing or a removal spell for the Asmo. No, I guess no. I could still make a Saga token. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep the cookbook, or keep the Saga. Although we could cast Sheoldred next turn, which would be really good, but that's only if the Asmo lives, which is the problem. I guess we should play Amber first so that we can tap it for mana and cast the cookbook if they do kill the Asmo. Obviously, having Cauldron in hand is also really good. Just, if we draw Griselbrand, we can do the thing. Not a bad turn 1. And they don't have the removal spell, so maybe I regret discarding Sheoldred instead of Griselbrand. We'll see how long I regret that. I guess I should not have 6, because I will discard the cookbook if they Thoughtseize me. Or should the Cauldron 2 cookbook if they Thoughtseize me. We know they have Spell Snare in their deck. I think I'm still going to cast the Cauldron here. C'est la vie. They don't crack the fetch, so they have Moonshadow. Guess not. Pretty scared of Dress Down. We got Dress Down pretty hard game one. Maybe I should be more scared of Meltdown. Just a frog, okay. And a Death Shadow. See what we draw. Draw Borborygmos. So sad our Cauldron got discarded, although I guess it's not that good here anyways. So I just want to make sure I have my second food available so they don't kill my Asmo in response to this. And then let's pass back. Would Buried Alive be okay in here? Dump Griselbrand Bobo, activate Daredevil in the yard. Buried Alive kind of sucks. I just don't like how much it telegraphs your play. It doesn't impact the board at all. It could be good, but just I've played a lot of Buried Alive and it's never been good. So it's kind of hard to imagine it would start being good because of this deck. Flip-flopping if one blue source, one Superior Spider-Man's interesting here. I mean, it's interesting, but we already have Emperor of Bones. So they fly the frog, so we'll be Asmoing the frog. They play a Polluted Delta. Dismember the Asmo? Could have tapped the Ember, I guess. Not super big deal. So hedging a little bit around Dress Down by going for this. I'm going to grab Ovalchase Daredevil. And then I can attack as an 8/8, but they can block it as a 9/9, so we can't quite get in, but... I mean, they could have Dressed Down in response to the Speaker, but then we would also have known. But then the Construct is also just really big and in charge. I don't know. Seems so fine. We talked some bitch on Dress Down, didn't we? Yeah, well, I talked about how Dress Down's not well positioned in the format. It does seem pretty good against my Formidable Speaker Urza Saga deck. You know, it seems like it's insanely good against me. But as usual, card I don't think is that well positioned in the format. A bit better against your friend Aspiring Spike. We can maybe Vigilant the Construct with Speaker. We'll see. They have the Dress Down. I guess I'll just go ahead and do this. And then do I chump block with the Speaker? Or do I take 13? I think I chump. They cycle a Wraith down to 5. Shadows at 8/8. Equipping Shadow Spear saves the boy. Well, we don't have a Shadow Spear in the deck, but if they did, and just say if we had Shadow Spear in that spot, they would have just responded to the equip with the Dress Down. So we need to draw another Asmo. If we do, we'll probably win. If we don't, we'll probably lose. They have another Death or another Dress Down in their hand, I think, or maybe they're just thinking about this fetch land to just put me on a 2-turn clock. I think it makes some sense. I'm a mana shy of drawing Monument to Endurance to kill them with. Was kind of hoping to hit that off the Rumble. So if I crack a clue, I go to 12, and I can't crack my fetch land. So I think I'll just surveil to give myself one extra look at Asmo for the Spellbomb crack. Because I don't like that it just turns off the land completely. It seems like this is the better line. And we brick. Always hard to be upset about losing to Grixis Shadow. Seems like probably not a great matchup overall, I would guess. This hand's pretty close. It needs to draw a land and a big thing, or mill over a big thing. I think it will just mulligan. This hand's way better. Is this hand a turn 2? So we go cookbook, discard. I guess it's not. I guess it could be turn 2. Yeah. We have to get kind of lucky on our draws. What about fetching a basic and eating 2 foods? The Mox Amber was not online, so we didn't have that much mana. But if we could have, that would have been the line. Yeah, so next turn we can Cauldron onto the Asmo, and hopefully we have enough mana from our like Moxen to Sheoldred before we activate again. We could, in theory, sack a food to. Also, we really hope they can't counter the Cauldron, but what are you gonna do? We could Thoughtseize is what you could do, I guess. I'm okay to jam, I think. Yeah. Amber Legend isn't Tournament Opal. Amber's only legendary creatures in play. That would be crazy, though. So we draw 7 cards. So if I draw another 7, I guess I'll just draw the other 7. So I've got 3 Moxen. I can Goryo's Griselbrand here. Gain a bunch of life. With still a land drop to hit, and or land drop to play and another Mox Opal in hand. As far as comboing off with Sheoldred this turn, seems a little less than likely. Although I may just also, if I find Bobo, we probably win. I'll draw 7. So kind of bricked here. Probably safe-ish to Thoughtseize them. Safe adjacent. Asmo deals 6 to Griselbrand. Oh, cool. Well, they conceded first. Did forget about that. Good call. Big brain. My opponent scooped the Thoughtseize, so obviously we'll bring in 2 more, right? Maybe just run it back. Let's just run it back. So a little slow for Speaker to turn on the Asmo. Let's just mulligan, I think. Keep on 6. Maybe would mulligan this if it was a 7. They play Scalding Tarn again, repeating their game plan from game 1. Scalding Tarn, then nothing. Might just be a classic Cookbook Daredevil Urza Saga game. MV with the 1 year. Thank you. Welcome back. Glad you're still liking the stream after all this time. So we're playing against Storm. So the concession decision point works out really well because I did not bring in my May or my Thoughtseizes. Oh, I guess it could be Just Guy, actually. It could still be Just Guy. I'm going to guess Storm, though. Yeah. Seems like it. So, see if we can find an Asmo to kill that Ral. Otherwise, we may be going to game 3 pretty quick. I guess we can sit back and enjoy the show. Yeah, being able to always guess Ovalchase now is definitely very cool. Wait, they flipped the Rao? Gotta be in second round. I don't know. I think it might just have been a misclick there. Like literally, even if it's second round, you don't flip there. Just a misclick or a misplay, I think. Nice of my opponent to interchain the stream for a second. They have one card in their hand now. They are pausing. Activate Artist Talent. Whether it be a misclick or a misplay, they could have activated again. Always yes, always yield. Be it a misclick or a misplay, we're alive. So I'm going to cast Formidable Speaker. Oh, wrong color. Gonna discard. Whatever. I'm gonna discard this. I'm gonna get Emperor of Bones. Now, if I had known this was Storm, I would be tutoring May here, but they conceded after just playing a Scalding Tarn game 1. So they play a Ruby Medallion, costs them only 1 mana because of the Artist Talent, and then they discard Gemstone Caverns and they draw a new card. They plus the realm. We draw another copy of Formidable Speaker. Maybe I just jam Sheoldred here. It's a little bit weird. But Sheoldred's really good against the Artist Talent, and might be just as good a reason as any. Can attack the realm next turn. I'm attacking them. Attacking them is kind of like a Sheoldred trigger. So that's the best possible top deck. Or maybe Past in Flames is. Yeah, Past in Flames would be better. They impulse into another copy of Ral and another copy of Rin's Resolve, and they chose not to use the Artist Talent trigger. Then they reveal a Pyretic Ritual and a Wish. So the wish only costs 1 mana. So they can go up to 3, and they can wish with 2 mana floating. They also have the Ral. Okay, their last card is another ritual. So now they can wish with 4 mana floating, and we get got by the Past in Flames. So lose anyways. Now we didn't know what the matchup was. We would have sideboarded pretty differently. They just conceded after. They conceded after doing nothing. I guess I'm playing Vexing Bauble over Needle because I feel like I care more about cycling through my deck in this matchup. I'm gonna go down to 1 Asmo. Probably gonna go down on Speaker, even though I can tutor May. I think I just want to trim 1. I don't want to draw too many copies. Could probably go down to Sheoldred. Probably down an Amber with only 1 Asmo, although does May triggers it, but if also I'm not really like super comboing if I'm in on May, if that makes sense. Maybe Emperor of Bones. Yeah, I think Emperor off the Speaker is a little slow, so we'll cut that too. And we are on the play for game 3 against Storm. And I'm going to mulligan. Keep this on 6 cards on the play against Storm. If I rumble into Mox, if I rumble into a Mox, I can turn 3 May. I think Emperor is slightly better than Shelly because he can get the graveyard a bit. Well, Shelly is a big part of us comboing, so I don't know about that. I think it's kind of hard to combo with only 1 Sheoldred in the deck. They just main phase Surveil. So Mox Opal lets me go Formidable Speaker into May next turn, so just keeping an eye out for that. Now I've milled the Griselbrand, and I have boarded out the Emperor of Bones. Maybe this is just something. Oh, I'm going to tutor May anyways. Yeah, that was the idea, wasn't it? Griselbrand in the yard, obviously, just good to have. Maybe we Haywire Mite this turn and then Speaker into May on turn 4. Can still draw Mox Opal also to May next turn. They played the Ruby Medallion really fast there, which makes me think that they probably have another one. We'll see if they can. They have 7 cards. Not usually very easy to win on turn 3 when you've got an empty board. Certainly possible. I'm going to tutor May this next turn, so I don't think that the Thoughtseize will be overly relevant. I'd also really like to find a Cauldron or a Goryos, of course. Fun that the tech seems to be paying off a little bit. I don't even know if they, like, would they have boarded in Prismatic Ending against me? Maybe. We'll see. Shouldn't you surveil then use Cookbook in case you surveil Daredevil? This build is only playing 1 Daredevil as a speaker target. It also doesn't matter anyways, because like the other Daredevil will come back to your hand when you Cookbook again. So I drew the Cauldron. Which is a bit awkward with the May. I'm going to draw 7 cards, though. So I can go play land, play a Mox, down to 8. Cast Sheoldred. Go to 1 since we're not a coward. Always yield. Will you replay my Goblin build? I'm sure we will at some point, yeah. So don't know when that'll be, though. Might try the Snoop combo. Seems like some other people are having success with Snoop. Funny to be like, okay, I'm going to play my Mox Opal, my Mox Amber into my own May, and then I'm going to Thoughtseize you into my own May. I'm going to go to 37. Okay, and then we go another Mox, and we untap the Agatha's Soul Cauldron. And then we discard Borborygmos, which, wait, I thought we drew Borborygmos already. Oh yeah, there it is. And then we Cauldron the Borborygmos. Then we start blasting. Only a teeny bit convoluted. Very funny to do this with May in play. Play Asmo, kill my own May. I mean, we're at 35. We're okay. Let's keep this. Kind of hard to mulligan. 2 lands and a rumble. 2 lands and 2 rumbles. Word kind of implies there's an insulate. That would be kind of funny. I mean, funny for you suckers, not for me, but if it got announced pretty fast after y'all been waiting for a long time. Belcher? I haven't been seeing a lot of Belcher lately. Okay, we'll keep a Goryos. So looking for Cookbook, or maybe just mill over a Griselbrand. Thoughtseize. I guess we can't take a Thoughtseize off the Rumble. We mill over. This is a very interesting pile. I think I'm going to take the Sheoldred. Just jamming the Sheoldred is kind of good. If I draw a land next turn. We already have a Goryo's Vengeance, but my opponent, they have a lot of counter magic, so that's kind of weird too. Okay, so this is not... This is not normal Belcher. This could be Necro Belcher, which was a really fun deck we played a while ago. We do find the cookbook. So now I can go sack spawn, play cookbook, discard Griselbrand, play Mox Opal, Goryo's Griselbrand. Oh, that stuff. I see. I see. Cool. So they Noxious Revive my Griselbrand. Obviously. Obviously they were going to do that. Then they play a Razor Glass Field untapped. And then they pass the turn with so many things they could have up here. Yeah, I don't know if they're doing the Parker Luck thing that we just saw with Recross the Paths, but I mean, probably not. This is more like oops. They reveal Perplex. Counter target spell unless controller discards a hand. I would have discarded my hand here. So this is to transmute for, okay, the Sickening Shoal, my Asmo. So if we draw land, we win, assuming we're not dead. If them just going land, oops, all spells me. Doubt the Perplex will matter very much. Okay, they've transmuted the Perplex for Tale of Tomio. I remember I was trying to play Tale of Tomio Affinity. So this was, you would go play Tale of Tomio. The entire deck was artifacts. You get to play artifact lands. And then it says mill 2. If the 2 cards that were milled share card type draw a card, repeat the process. It was kind of interesting. And I was playing Wishclaw Talisman and 1 copy of Tale of Tomio. So it was always like 3 mana draw, a ton of cards. And then like a Conjurer's Bauble or 2 so they could shuffle cards back in. The deck was it was one of these off-stream tests that was really, really bad. Shocker. One of these decks that we played off-stream that didn't perform really well. I don't know that I've ever so badly just wanted to see my opponent's deck, but maybe we'll get to see it the rest of this match, right? Maybe they have another Noxious Revival, but I'm you know, I heard a story one time when Michael Jordan one time tried to dunk on Shaquille O'Neal, and Shaquille O'Neal famously hates being dunked on, and he said he felt like he had to technical foul Michael Jordan to not get dunked on. Wait, is it better to let our opponent do the thing? Maybe we could just Thoughtseize them for info. And then he tried to help Michael Jordan up after he knocked him down. And then Michael Jordan hated that Shaquille O'Neal did that and said that you gotta respect someone by letting them get up, and we're respecting our opponent by not letting them do the thing when we can just combo kill them. They gotta earn it. Okay, actually, okay. I mean, nothing's gonna change. I just wonder, like, do they concede to Thoughtseize on Tale of Tomio? They didn't concede there. Thought you were the Brewer Spike opponents killing it. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought we were having a cool stream with my Cauldron Bobo Griselbrand on Sheoldred. I'm good. I'm new to this, I think. Is May gonna be good against them? Maybe we'll try for game 3. I imagine Vexing Bauble is pretty good. I imagine Nihil Spellbomb's good. So how do they win the game? They mill their entire deck. How do they win the game? Like, they can't have Thassa's Oracle in their deck. It doesn't work with Tale of Tomio. Let's try to figure it out. So I'm assuming their deck is all instants and then 1 Tale of Tomio. So they've got like Noxious Revival, so they don't scoop to Thoughtseize on Tale of Tomio. Maybe Noxious Revival is involved in the combo. They can't play Creeping Chill. They can't play Thassa's Oracle. They can't play Laboratory Maniac. Yeah, how can they play Oracle? If they hit Oracle off Tale of Tomio, they just lose. Maybe they just let the other trigger go off next turn. Okay, I think I get it. Okay, so I think that they have Oracle or Lab Maniac, and despite the fact that when they hit it they can't lose, they do draw like Pact of Negation and Shoals, and Sickening Shoal, Nourishing Shoal, and they use those 0 mana. They draw a ton of them, and they just interact with you, and then they win next game. That's probably it, right? Bring it down to Speaker. Did regret cutting the Emperor last time. Yeah, let's go down to Speaker at 3 Asmos. Yeah, maybe Lab Maniac instead. Isn't it all milled though? How does that card work? Yeah, so there's 2 chapters. So the tail will trigger again the next turn on chapter 2, and then you'll win with Laboratory Maniac. And you in theory are almost always going to draw a lot of cards. In theory, you're almost always going to draw a lot of cards with chapter 1, and you have a bunch of shoals to stop your opponent from killing you while you wait for the chapter to go off next turn. I'm going to build the deck. No, it looks awful. It looks very cool, but I'm not sold. This is, of course, a big part of brewing, is finding really cool stuff like this and thinking about the combo and thinking about the Lab Maniac stuff, and then being like, well, that idea sucks. On to the next one. Okay, might be a Cauldron onto Spawn token game. I have tried to build Tale of Tamio, but it was a affinity build that you just play a bunch of affinity cards. Okay, I guess now let's still Rumble. If they draw Lab Mana Oracle, how do they cast it? Mana. They're always casting it. They're always just untapping and casting it. If they draw it, they mill their whole deck, then they untap and cast it. But the idea is you draw your whole deck, you have a bunch of shoals, you use those shoals to not die. Okay, so they plunge into darkness, which seems like their tutor. They paid 10 life. Maybe they're also playing Profane Tutor. Although they can't play Profane Tutor because it's a sorcery. They need all instants. See some of the deck. So Force of Negation, Shoal. I think we've figured it out. They're thinking about countering the Rumble. They do Force of Negation, the Rumble. Now they're at 7 life, which is not the best life total they could be at against my Griselbrand deck. If I draw an untapped land or a Mox Opal, we are presenting lethal this next turn. Did they find it? Okay, they're transmuting. So can they beat Agatha's Soul Cauldron? Oh, dang it, we drew the freaking... We drew the land, so we're going to respect our opponent here and try to kill them. There's plenty of interaction they can have here. How do they untap though if they build a whole deck? Yeah, Revival, Nexus of Fate, the normal stuff. So, let me take a look here. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna lead on the Urza Saga, I think. Well, yes, I think so. If they have 4 tails. Wait, did they have 4 tails? I thought it was just one to they transmute for it and they search for it. Didn't draw anything that helps us combo. Was I right? It seemed like I was right on how their deck works, yeah. It's always fun when you see like a crazy brew like that to try to figure out how the hell it works. There's another copy of Rumble. We're gonna get a cookbook. Doesn't hugely matter if we play Sheoldred or Asmo first, I guess. They just posted the list. Oh, nice. Precision, very, very cool deck. I'm going to take a look. Let me cast this Asmo, though. And then I have to decide, do I... I'm just not going to discard Rumble. I'm not going to discard Rumble to kill the Guide of Souls, so you can discharge if you have discharge. So 2 copies of Tale of Tamio is interesting. So you have 2 different brick cards, but yeah, the idea is you just draw a ton of cards and you use your free interaction to buy you time as you set up for the win. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. I think it's probably not better than Belcher or Oops, but a very, very creative, very, very cool build. Suspend. This is like the first deck. Suspend doesn't look completely awful. Very cool. Mana Tithe incoming. We did have the spawn to play around the Tithe. So why don't you die when you cast Tale of Tamio? Well, you're gonna brick some, which is kind of funny, but so a lot of times what you're gonna do is you're gonna play Tale of Tamio, draw like a ton of cards, and one of them is gonna be another Tale or a Thassa's Oracle, and then you're gonna mill the rest of your deck on the future chapters, and then you're gonna cast the Oracle, and you can Noxious Revival the Oracle back to your deck too. Okay, so they have enough energy now to discharge the Sheoldred potentially. Although they didn't discharge the Asmo end of turn, maybe they were setting up for this. Let's Rumble before we Speaker. Although we're probably going to get Emperor of Bones no matter what. Another Speaker. So the first Speaker could get me Griselbrand. The second could get Emperor of Bones potentially. Maybe that's the wrong order. Yeah, I guess it makes sense to get Emperor first. Definitely very slow here, though. Oh, no, let's get Griselbrand first so we can discard to Asmo to activate the Asmo this turn. Do I attack? Seems like attacking is good. Yeah, they don't seem like they've got good blocks here. I'm going to assume they don't have the discharge. All right, so let the Ajani flip trigger go on the stack. Discard the Griselbrand. Did you already play New Goblins with Grimgully? Yes. If they have discharge, good for them. I guess they do. I don't really know how they have it here. I guess they do have it. Maybe I should have discarded first. But also, if they discharge the Asmo instead of the Sheoldred, maybe I'm just kind of happy anyways. I don't know. They let it happen. Then they do cast the discharge after letting me gain life and hit them for 4 damage with Sheoldred. So I don't know. People are so random with their removal spells lately. It feels. They play Arena of Glory. They've got 4 cards in their hand. Would 1 ooze as a tutor target be terrible? No. We have Emperor of Bones, which is probably on average best. I might just get Ovalchase Daredevil here also. It's either that or the Emperor, of course. Let's see what we draw. Another Asmo, a little bit weird, but I like that I can use the Speaker to untap my cookbook here to kill something this turn. Let's do it. It did make more sense to discharge Sheoldred. I agree it made sense to discharge Sheoldred, but maybe do it before I gain 2 life and deal you 4 damage, right? That was what I was confused about. Okay, still gonna kill the Guide of Souls. Arena Flage is pretty good. Maybe I chose pretty wrong not getting Emperor of Bones. So we're looking to top deck. Reanimation effect. We got a lot of them in the deck. Asmo would be okay. So now Cauldron's offline, Goryo's still online. Interesting board. Not getting Griselbrand attack there is crazy. I thought that this line was fine, but yeah, maybe I'm just way off. Like the guy, the Emperor Bones is weak to removal. I guess the Asmo is weak to removal too. Marsh Flats offline. I don't see any surveillance anywhere. We have fetchables still. Oh, you're just talking about me saying the other cards are offline, right? Okay, so I can always yield to this. Then I'm going to surveil instead of sacking food for more life here. Ding, ding, ding. It was all on an Asmo there, tapped on turn. Well, the problem with another thing with Emperor is if we get Emperor, we're not affecting the board at all that turn. We let them Guide of Souls. Listen, if you would have taken the other line, that's fine. You a good chance you were right. Good chance we're gonna win anyways. Didn't want to jump with the spawn. They targeted it with the Flage, so a little bit difficult to do that, unfortunately. Fun to do this in the damage step. Already have Borborygmos in the yard. So there's a Cauldron for the Bobo. Looks like plenty of lands. Technically, maybe technically is not the right word, but kind of fun to Cauldron the Borborygmos here and then give Griselbrand the ability, so whenever you discard cards, you get to gain life. Doing that just to show y'all the tech more than anything else. More than Goryos maybe a bit better to play around removal that they don't have. Okay, so we're up a game against Boros, as Goryos decks often are. At least one Haywire Mite, if not two. I don't know how much we care about Nihil Spellbomb for Flage. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I think we want to be able to play the grinder game plan if they're playing a lot of sideboard cards. Let's just do one Mite for now. Yeah, you could needle a Johnny Bombardment, but I think the thing is if they're on a Johnny Bombardment, we just have the Goryo's plan. And if they have a Johnny Bombardment Graveyard Hate, I don't know how much Needle is helping us win those games. Maybe enough. I'm just kind of scared of over sideboarding because like the Goryo's plan is good in the matchup, and so you have to remove some of those pieces, right? It's a bit easier when the Asmos are bad. You can just trim some of those. So I'm gonna keep turn 1 Asmo, although we might play it turn 2 so we can make Saga tokens. We'll see if we draw untap land or what. I think they play Ragavan or something. We draw Griselbrand. I think because we have second Asmo, I'm going to go for the turn 1 Asmo here. So if they prioritize killing it, we just have the second copy. And, if I don't, we won't get to make a Saga token this way, and that's probably okay. This line also means if we top deck Goryos or Cauldron, we can do the turn 2. So we don't top deck Goryos. We do draw an untapped land. I also have the option to Formidable Speaker for Ovalchase Daredevil instead of making a Saga token. I have the option to Formidable Speaker for Emperor of Bones also. Could also be good to play around Rat. Now, we'll lose to Rathless, guys. I'm going to search up Emperor of Bones. I can get a Mox off of Saga to do the thing next turn. No turn 2 singles Wrath. Yeah, we just can't beat it. It's okay. Also, if they had Wrath, they should have played X equals 0 this turn, I think. Although, you know, who knows? Maybe not. Like, but this is just, I think, not a game where playing around Wrath is a thing. I mean, maybe we'll just top deck like land Goryos or something. I'm shocked. Well, not that shocked that the unbanned Opal with no reprint plan for a year and a half. I would be really surprised if like the team who makes reprint decisions was like in any way connected with the team that makes ban decisions. I don't really even. I certainly wouldn't want those two people to be the same people. So they might Thraben Charm my Griselbrand here. They might also like Emperor's pretty good against Thraben Charm. Interesting that they wouldn't kill a Saga with the Thraben Charm. Overall, not too bad. What did we lose to with the super deck? What did we lose to? I can't remember. So if we want to make a Saga token, we can just do it off this Saga. Oh yeah, it was Demir. That's right. Oh no, it was Grixis Moonshadow. So we'll see if we surveil a creature here. Oh my gosh, we do. Huge news. I think we're attacking with everything. We still have our land we can play for turns. So if we draw a single Mox in the next 14 cards, we win, I think. I like the double block. Take Fate into their own hand here. I mean, it's kind of desperate. But they are in a desperate time. Oh, sorry, we don't have. We played the Surveil. I forgot we played the Surveil. But we can still, I guess, Cauldron. And then this is kind of nice too. Not that in this spot it matters very much, but the life gain from Griselbrand sometimes lets you keep discarding, so you have enough. You have enough cards to draw. You can draw more cards for lands for Bobo. Well, let's get a 4-1 prediction going. I do think that Grixis Moonshadow matchups seems particularly tough, but pretty strong deck overall, maybe. Well, got 2 Rumbles and a Goryos are going to keep. Imagine you're qualified for next Modern PT. Do you work on one of your brews or pick up a Modern deck? Well, what I did last time was I joined a team, and joining a team is a bit different from doing either of those two things. Your team is recording data on the win rates for all of the decks the team is interested in testing, internal data and external data. So that's win rates on Magic Online versus win rates testing against your opponents, or your fellow teammates, and then you make a team decision based on the data from everybody. Usually, a lot of times people still will just disagree, or they'll choose to play one of the different decks. Oh, they got the main deck crypt here. Why not Dredger's Insight of a Rumble? Dredger's Insight, this gives you a spawn token, which is huge because you can Cauldron it, and the extra mana is huge. Like Rumble is much better. The spawn token matters so much. A somewhat high chance we'll end up going like imagine what this very possible scenario. We Rumble this turn. We mill over a Griselbrand. Next turn we can go cast Agatha's Soul Cauldron, Cauldron the Griselbrand onto the spawn token. Then my opponent will respond by sacking the Tormod's Crypt, and I'll respond to the sacking of Tormod's Crypt by sacking the spawn and casting Goryo's Vengeance. How does that sound? Maybe we'll do a similar thing with Borborygmos here. Although Goryo's Borborygmos, I don't know how good that'll be this turn. Could maybe Goryo's before Cauldroning. I don't know that they would crack the crypt. It might be fine still. Sounds much better. All right. Now we didn't draw the Griselbrand, but Glad I've swayed you. Okay, we'll see if they have a counterspell for the Cauldron. Let's do it. So we're gonna be out of Borborygmos, but they're gonna be minus a Tormod's Crypt, and we'll have hit them for a good bit of damage. I guess I should have maybe fetched Forest first, but then my line's also kind of telegraphed. Obviously, if this was a Griselbrand, this would be a lot more exciting. Funny that we get this question about Rumble over Dredger's Insight, and immediately the Rumble is better than Insight in two different ways. Although we could have gained a life. It's like I have a paid chatter instead of a paid actor here. So we're not going to be able to combo finish anymore. Oh, great. And we also have paid actors still, it seems. I'm gonna bring in the Needle. I'm gonna bring in the Haywire Mites. I think I might just go down 3 Asmos. I think I want like 2 Thoughtseize. It seems like a good number to me. The Vexing Bauble is like good in your opening hand. I could see. I mean, I think they're maybe just used to Big Thing getting the. Maybe they feel embarrassed that we played around the main deck Tormod's Crypt like that. Well, it's mulligan the 7 on the draw. Well, they scooped a Goryos and Bobo last game, so seems like a good thing to keep this game. The monuments are for, it's like mostly Blink. I did bring them in against Grixis Moonshadow. Blink is like, it's like a very tough matchup without the monuments, but it's also a lot of sideboard slots for not that big a meta share, so a little bit weird. But, you know, there's a few other like grindy matchups you bring them in against, but not Boros. They started to pay cost, then they stopped. I think I'm still playing my cookbook here. Certainly we want to draw a land or an opal. So I'm going to play weapons here. They've got a crypt again. 4 cards in their hand. We don't draw the land. I can still play the Haywire Mite. Maybe going to game 3 in a second. So now we're hoping for Needle for a crypt, I guess. Or we might just get Kappa Cannoneered. Maybe my opponent's worried about convoking out a Kappa Cannoneer and tapping the crypts, but they would still have a crypt available, so don't think maybe she should be too worried about that. So they, instead of leaving up Tormod's Crypt, they left up a mana, so maybe they have Metallic Rebuke. I'm going to game 3. Either way, I don't have a second land. I don't want to play with you anymore. Okay, game 3 on the play. All right, let's try it. Could technically win on turn 2 with the Surveil lands in the deck. Bubble's okay on the play, yeah. Maybe the hand was a mulligan. I think on the draw it's a keep, but we already mulliganed once, like on the draw on 6. I think that hand's a keep. A lot of graveyard hate over there. I might just be hardcasting Sheoldred. We'll see what develops here. Be kind of sad if we mill over the Griselbrand and we can't just turn 2. Great card to have on top. Can also Formidable Speaker for a Haywire Mite. Right, backup Sheoldred, probably not that relevant. Notably, the Grafdigger's Cage does not stop Emperor of Bones if we want to be in on that this game. All right, so they got a 5/5 Kappa Cannoneer, they got an Urza Saga, they got a Grafdigger's Cage, they got a Tormod's Crypt. They got 2 more cards in their hand, and it's turn 2. Not the most optimistic. Maybe we need to be playing some like culling rituals or something. Do you think I should slam the Sheoldred? A land that comes into play tapped and makes a treasure token and taps for colors be cool. That's just broken. Just cast a 3-drop on turn 2 with that. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. What are the odds Shaman gets a ban? I really encourage all y'all to not worry about this kind of stuff. Wizards Wizards is gonna make banless decisions, and they're not predictable. They have not been predictable for a long time. I even feel like they're pretty intentionally unpredictable. So just don't worry about it. Just see what happens on Monday, and you know, you can do your agenda posting. That's fine for me. I'm just gonna enjoy whatever happens or doesn't happen. And maybe I'm gonna concede. Yeah, we are just dead to Lava Spur Boots, basically. All right, Ben Affinity. So not a bad stream overall. The stick looked pretty good. The mirror deck looked pretty good, although we had a bad string after getting pretty close to a trophy. I think I'm gonna play the Death Shadow Abigail deck tomorrow in the challenge. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we'll play first. I have an updated Elves build I've been kind of meaning to get to. I've got a few other things we're working on.